Okay, this was episode 100 intro, Superstitious special version. Yeah, tonight with two guests, or two moderators, or three moderators. Yeah, Richard Morgan and Kai Sonnhalter for this very special event, episode 100.
Yeah, 100. Can you believe it?
Actually not.
No, you can't. I mean,
It is, we do it and we do it and we do it another time, and I never thought of 100 episodes.
was anybody watching here for episode 1? If you were there, if
Yeah.
you're one of the originals, drop us a message to say, I was here for episode 1. And we're very, very happy that you stuck around this long.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of hours of watching Thomas do his thing.
Oh my God.
And that must have been, I mean, 52 weeks a year. That must have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
52 years.
Yeah.
It feels like that sometimes because the shows go pretty long. But,
Right.
I think the first episode was April 2020 because it was not long after the whole world shut down.
Sure.
And you thought this is the time where we've got to get the message out.
Mr. Demeter was there. Okay, and Erik Bosma.
Check mal eure Mics.
Okay,
Oh.
we have a mic issue. I have a mic. My mic.
Is it on? Is it on?
Ah, my mic is not working because I pressed the mute button. Did I? So, sorry. Hello. Ah, okay. Yeah, okay.
He didn't say anything important in the last 2 minutes.
You didn't know.
So-
We're just getting into it. Is the sound better now, guys? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we take it from there. We had people that were there from the very first. What is Mr. Demeter, Mr. Bosma, and who?
Julian Caiba was here, episode 1, our
Oh,
French
cool.
friend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's since been on the show. So
Yeah. Cool.
that's how it
And
can happen.
Thorsten knows the date. 20th of April 2020.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Okay, Dutch guitar dude Eric de Jong now says it's better. Okay, yeah, I had the mute button on. Okay, no mute is much better. So 100 episodes of topics. Sometimes I think I did a lot of information in the very first, actually 3 or 4 or 5 episodes. So episode number 2, I was rewatching the other month, I have to say, and I had all my secrets, the treble bleed, and it was very condensed,
Everything in there.
everything in there. So I mean, we are still providing new content, but what I'm trying to say is some of the earlier episodes are really good. If you watch them, maybe I wasn't that comfortable. I was more like a bit stiff, but the content was killer.
Well, some of the older ones, you're on your own and it's almost like some kind of a guitar professor giving a masterclass. It's more technical, it's just you. And yeah, I mean, when you're on your own in front of a camera doing a live thing, you have to talk all the time because it's dead air otherwise.
And today I was a guitar professor again. So over the day I'm shooting a series of professor-style videos, instructional videos for Guitar Summit. Our German friends from Guitar Summit who also do the event in, when is it?
September?
September, right?
11th,
11
around
to
the
14, something like that.
I'll tell you in a
And
minute.
they asked me to do a blues rock masterclass, and I've been together with the guys since last week. I think after the live stream, so it must have been Thursday. I had no day off, so every day in the morning, 9:30, bing gong, 3 people coming in, and today we did take 58 iconic players. Gary Moore. I did something about Jimi Hendrix. I did something about Angus Young. I did something about blah blah blah, and the whole theory, and the chords, and the rhythm, and where it all started from. The blues guys. Very exciting things, but tons of work. Will be released in summer. We don't know. It's tons of work. And yeah.
And the Guitar Summit, just to mention that, is taking place September 9th through 11th in Mannheim, Germany.
Mannheim.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monum.
Monum.
Monum. Yeah. This is actually, when they came up with this event, maybe you heard that the Frankfurt show was kind of shrinking, and now it's over. And the guys from Guitar Summit, which is the German Gitarre und Bass magazine, they came up with the idea to make an event specialized for guitar players and bass players only. And nobody knew if that thing would work. And I told them, this is something we have to do because we need a gathering of people. We need to meet and meet our friends and whatever. And, I told them I take care of the band, and it wasn't about money. There was no money. I just did it. And in the first year, we took the Germans, who was there? The special guest was Gavri Goffman, but this was the only international.
Was
Dennis.
Uli John Roth? Or was that the second year?
That was later. That was the year later. But Dennis Hormis was there, Gregor Hilden was there, Jen Majura was there. Who else? Fuck, I forgot already. And then, over the years, we got even more international people. So the Guitar Summit is something super important, I think, in these times. And this year, it will take place in person again. So we are really looking forward seeing our friends and maybe you guys there. So hang out, have a beer. It's usually great weather, and there's
and we will have some exciting news.
Well, we have our X coming. This is the new sign. We're talking about this or this. Yeah, and I know there's a couple of great players also lining up already. I'm not talking about this because I'm not sure what is actually confirmed, but the list of people coming there is exciting. So that's the Guitar Summit thing. Now back to 100 episodes of Academy of Tone. Rich joined somewhere in the middle, right?
I can't remember the number where I joined, but maybe let me try and think. I joined the company in September or October of 2020. So you'd probably done maybe 20 or 30. So maybe I joined in the 30s somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
In your 30s.
Yeah, in my 30s. And I'm still in them. Just.
Okay. So you are 39 then. Okay.
No, 39 this year.
Ah, okay.
I'm still 38. Can't you tell?
Well, doesn't matter. Okay. What is this? Sorry, I came later, episode 38. Okay, that was David Matai. Yeah, I see the names Siggy, Paul Gilbert. Yeah, this was our star guest in Guitar Summit last time in 20 or 2019?
2019
was the last live one. Yeah, this was Paul Gilbert. Yeah, and Paul Gilbert is, of course, a killer player, but he plays so loud. He has a 4x12 in the back and a 1x12 combo Marshall in front of him, so he can hear something. Nice guy, killer player, but his hearing is not too good. That's when you play old school style.
Look at that. Rich's first episode was AOT 30.
There you go.
So you guys know better than us?
Yeah.
Well, this is how it should be.
Well, I probably should have researched that, shouldn't I? But thank you, David, for telling me what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the research, we have created our new platform, the knowledge base, which you guys came up with a beautiful name by Blugipedia. And this is going into kind of the next iteration, and we have finally a logo, as you can see. Well, pretty obvious logo and obvious face. Yeah, and if you go, BluGuitar.com.
Yeah, that's new also. We have BluGuitar.com as a URL.
Yeah.
We didn't have that last time, I think.
Yeah, so
You can reach it under BluGuitar.com or support.bluguitar.com. So
yeah.
yeah.
Or you enter our website and then you go to support and then you find Blugipedia. There's many ways. But the reason for Blugipedia is actually quite simple. When I thought about all the questions that we get, people answer the questions on Facebook, we do it via email, on the telephone and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of endless. And to be honest, I heard a question, what is the lifespan of the nanotube? So many times that I tell the guys,
longer than you.
exactly.
That question came up today, actually.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It comes up all the time.
Yeah.
It comes up all the time. And since when we introduce the AMP X, we have tons more questions coming up. I said we have to find a system that will grow and doesn't lose any information. So when you go on Facebook, that's all great because we have other people with their knowledge helping you. But in the timeline, it's kind of getting lost over the weeks because nobody looks back half a year with all the information. Yeah. And the good thing about our knowledge base, Blugipedia, is it will always stay there and it's intelligent. So if you search for something, we can see if you were lucky and could find an answer or if you couldn't find the answer, so we can improve. And the big instruction manual for the AMP X, we do a quick guide in print that comes with the unit, but the big instruction manual will be online on that platform because we can update it and we can write the articles in a way that you actually understand them. And if not, we can update it.
Yeah, and it's still, if you have any questions, just go there and look it up. And if you can't find it, let us know, because if you can find the answer to your question, then that means we have some homework to do. So just go there. Like I said, if you can't find anything, drop us in. There's a contact form you can that you can use. You can write comments on each article. Either way, just let us know if there's something missing or if we can do better, because we want to do better. We want to get it as good as possible for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's another way how to keep BluGuitar a small company, which is important for me, because if BluGuitar gets too big, I don't want to be a big company. It's nice to work with a bunch of nice people, and the moment where you have too many people, it's kind of too much for me. And
you're becoming more of a CEO than of a R&D and guitar player guy that you're now.
I'm not a CEO by nature. I'm still Thomas, the guitar player, and the amp designer, and I'm still with my soldering iron and with my electrical screwdriver, and I do care about samples and tests, and my whole house here is full of prototypes and shit and experiments, and it's endless, and that's my life. And if the other side that I have to do, since somebody has to be the guy that organizes the whole thing, is okay, but we try to be in that format. And having something like a knowledge base is super useful. Otherwise, you have to employ 10 people, and then I have to deal with is he coming, is she coming, and how much. No, we put it there, and we found a way that a few people know what they are doing, and we all are experts in a certain range, but we are still small enough that we know that this is done by Rich, this is done by Kai, or this is done by Lucas or by Julian, and we have some freelancers, and it's still something that I can overview in a way without going crazy, and that's the way BluGuitar works, and I think this will stay like that, and it's not about getting big numbers or anything. I just want to do my thing with cool guys, cool products. That's all I want. Yeah, what about the cool snippets? We ask you, or what was the thing about the snippets?
Yeah, we did. Because this is episode 100, Thomas has picked out some of his favourite performances from the past 100 episodes. And we also asked you guys to tell us on social media what you thought were the best performances from Thomas and maybe some of the guests. And actually the list that the guys out there came up with was pretty similar to your list. So we have maybe 10 or 12 of our favourite snippets that we can maybe play some snippets of right now. What do you want to start with?
Okay, for me, the first thing that came to mind, which is absolutely not my cup of tea usually, was the thing I've done with Mani Cewe. Okay, Mani Cewe is the metal player, and he's such a cool guy, but metal, I'm not 100% not a metal guy. But it was so much fun to play a song of his latest album. And there was this kind of effect that I've never done before. It was this kind of thing. He had to show me because it was part of the song, and I learned it for that song. And I find it really exciting and funny.
The question is, have you ever used that technique again, and will it appear on your album with Ben Granfeld later this year?
I don't think it will be. In Ben Granfeld, I have another lick. I show you the lick. It's like. So you can see I'm still practicing, but this will be in sync and not a. But that's the good thing about anything I'm working on, being it with a metal guest and doing the Peitsche. What's the English word for
Cymbal?
No. If you have like a horse and you make faster.
Oh, if you whip a horse.
A whip.
Okay.
For me, that's the whip. Okay,
Right.
it's the first time I've done a whip. I mean, I do my thing as well, but that's another whip. I learned a new whip. Let's check it out. Hey, see that video? I liked it a lot. The whip. Now the trick is you have to use the pick. You have to dampen the strings with that hand, and you have to brush through the strings, but in a 90 degrees angle.
Wow.
And then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, probably don't use a 1961 Strat on a clean setting with lots of reverb, because it's not ideal.
No, you use proper humbuckers with tons of gain, maybe an iridium, and then you get in this nice effect territory.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to hear or see that jam and that episode in full, that was episode 67 with Mani Cewe. So hopefully we get Mani on sometime in the next 100 episodes for another metal thing, and you can learn a new whip or something like that.
Yeah. And what I learned from Mani is, I asked him, hey, how did you come up with your great solo and stuff? And he said, he worked it out. It took him 3 months. Yeah, okay, for me, I'm an improviser, 3 months later, I would have forgotten what I thought at my first day, The way I work is kind of, let's do one take, let's do another one, that's it. And it has always been like that. In the studio, my best takes are the early ones. If I have to do 30 takes, I suck, because my energy is gone. And I live in the moment. But he is the kind of guy. I mean, this is all about precision. Metal is like a clockwork, you know. Duk, 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 duk.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and so they work in a different style. That's very nice for me to learn that people actually do that. Yeah, but 3 months, and he techniques brilliant, but yeah.
I'm thinking of so many cool things that you can do in
In
time
3
span
months.
of 3 months.
Yeah, I would record 30 solos, but he has, condensed all the stuff into one beautiful solo. All good. There's so many different ways how to play.
Yeah,
guitar.
I mean, what works is okay. So
Yeah.
everybody has their own work ethic, their own working style, and as long as the result is good,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah.
I think what would be really interesting actually would be to hear you do a guest solo on the Godslave album, and for Manny to spend half a year coming up with something for
my
your album
album.
or something. Yeah, just to hear those two totally different philosophies and kind of ways of coming up with guitar parts together on opposing records, because you're polar opposites.
That's true. I mean, there's people like Mika Fastfinger,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Mika well from the Using Kettner days. And I guessed it on his album. And, Mika is, again, such a brilliant technical player. And when he plays his thing, bloop, bloop, and it's kind of worked out in a way, and then it's kind of spontaneous, and he has some humor, all that stuff. But I was the total organic guy, so I have to play my role. Otherwise, I'm not good. I can do my thing, and they do their thing. And that's interesting to see. But this is why we do collaborations, actually. And that's why what I'm doing with Ben, for instance, because we kind of really sync with harmonies, 2 guitars, harmonies. There's a magic, and it's something, maybe later this year we will see or hear more of that. That's another exciting thing. But hey, collaborations is always great.
Yeah. And there's actually another collaboration, or at least another jam, that came up on the list of what everyone wanted to hear. And that was all the way back in episode 9, when you did a Richie Blackmore special with Alex Bayreuth as the guest. And you did a song called Speed King, and then you did Burn as well. So we should have a clip of that we can show now as well.
Actually,
Yeah, that was the wrong Alex Bayreuth clip, because you guys voted for 2 of them. There are 2 Deep Purple ones there. The other one was the Richie Blackmore one, so we'll play that in a minute, I guess. But
this Alex Bayreuth guitar, and he's coming back next week because he just released his new solo album. Even Alex Bayreuth goes solo these days, which is great. And I don't know what we are doing. He did an instrumental album. I heard some songs, very tasteful, and the rest will be 101.
Yeah, he's doing a lot on his Instagram right now, posting like little snippets and telling backstories about the songs.
yeah, it's really interesting. And it looks like you can also, you buy the album directly from him, from his website, and you can also buy it with bottles of whiskey or something.
Yeah. Well, Alex, we are looking for different ways how to expand business and stuff. And Alex, he is doing guitar parts, guitar slinger. Yeah. And so if you need some aged, strat knobs or scratch plates and all that stuff, Alex has some great things on his web store. And then of course he's doing the tours, and and we actually have some live gigs coming up next month maybe, and stuff like that. It's it's all nice to see these people, and then one thing leads to another and another. But back to Alex's web shop, he's kind of more the harder guy with the soft drinks or the whiskey, or I think he has some whatever red wine in some alcohol. If you are into that, check out Alex's web store. And the
Is that a certain type of whiskey? Do you know anything about it?
No, but everyone come back next week and he'll maybe bring a whiskey and he can tell us.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We get drunk.
Because I like some good whiskey myself. So.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, that would be 101, episode 101. Alex Bayreuth and Thomas Blug. Go for it. Let's see. And we order him a taxi, or he can sleep upstairs. No problem. I have a guest as long as we make it upstairs, is fine. And I promise you, we will not be that bad like the real rock stars and die. You know, blah, blah, blah. No. We should have fun. Let's see how that works.
Exciting times. So we do have one more clip of Alex Bayreuth and Thomas playing together. So let's run that now as well and see that one too.
Okay. Yeah. Have you seen me at the beginning where I try to, which sound do I play? Do I need solo sound? Do I need another channel? Do I need a boost? And then while playing, I decided, oh, fuck it. It's okay. It's all good, you know. Sometimes it's like that. You know, I don't have many foot switches with me here in the video studio because it's like, and then you bend over and you rip it off. No, but so this was a funny moment for me to watch that again. And well, the other thing is like Alex going opposite. Yeah, that's a proper rock star.
Yeah,
fingering.
Yeah, so come back next week to watch the guys do this again, and let's see if after half a bottle of whiskey they can still do what they just did in that last video.
Highway starts pretty fast, I tell you. It's like, you know, to play it right, you play. So. You have to be in sync and fast. Most guys just do, you know, only 3 triplets. But no, it's actually 16th in tempo, whatever. There's a do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
And that's good old Richie Blackmore was that fit in 1974, maybe? Bern, was that 74? Maybe you know, put it in the comments. But I think this was kind of Richie Blackmore being at a peak as a player. Very impressive for me.
Yeah, I think we also had a comment about your haircut in that video, Thomas, with your short hair.
Well, I tell you the story about the haircut. I have a hairdresser who's an elderly man who is such a great guy to go to, and he does great short style haircuts. And I love him because the comments he does, they're so offensive. And it's like you're sitting there, you know, they wash the hair, and then he you know, with the scissors like and I said, and there's some ice cream shop on the opposite side of the street, and he watches some ladies and said, well, she's that fat, look at that fuck. And then, you know, it's like offensive like crazy, but it's such a comedy. It's really like a comedy. Or I go there with my girlfriend, now he looks just like you. you know, and this guy has such a dry humor. It's so great. I actually saw him last late afternoon when we finished with the video shoot. I went down there for the ice cream, and he was there in his shop. The problem is the haircut looks really good, but it looks too much business for me. So I currently prefer my old hairdresser, which is my new hairdresser, Michele, who is an Italian guy, such a music fan. He has been on some of my concerts, and we always talk about music. Sometimes it's even too much. You sit in the hairdresser place, and then he puts on this blues guy. He's totally into blues. It's like, you know, all the people in the salon sitting there, and it's like you know, it's like, oh, my life is so sad. You know, and Michele is so happy because he is in his moment. But you know, nice people, ordinary people go there, and they would like to hear some kind of relaxed, you know, stylish music, maybe funky or some electro pop or whatever, you know, just beautiful. No, but he goes blues, especially when I come and oh, listen to this. This guy's okay, it's a good one. So lately I'm with Michele again. But
so my hairdresser plays. Well, I went there like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and while I was sitting there, I was like, that song that's on, I know it somehow. And it took me like, I don't know, like 10 seconds to realize it was one of my songs. Oh. So he had my latest album in his playlist. And he said it was not intentional, which I tend to believe him, but...
Do you actually like that?
No.
See, no. Same here. When I go to places, like there's a little bar sometimes when we hang out, and then the guy who runs the bar, they think they do you a favor by playing the music. You're sitting in the bar, they put on your music, and then it goes like, that's him.
Yeah. Oh. And everybody looks at you.
And I think, hey, leave me alone. Yeah. You know, just give me a beer or whatever. And I want to hang out, have a great time.
If it's that way, I don't like it at all. Yeah. But in this case, I do believe him that it was just a coincidence. He had it, you know, that album in his playlist, and it just came up. So and that I like. If it's just a coincidence. And I mean, nobody except for me even noticed. So
that's okay. But you know, if it's getting a big fuss, it's like hey, this guy has birthday, or you have birthday. Actually, do you like if everybody knows your birthday and everybody goes, there's nothing wrong about birthday, but sometimes relax is cool.
Just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, maybe a couple of weeks ago, or what date is it today? It's long ago. Yeah, that's the way. And for the Facebook guys, I have several birthdays on Facebook intentionally. So some people know the right one, others don't. And that's good.
Like the Queen, she has 2.
Oh, really?
She does.
Yep.
Is she 101 and 98 as well? Or what's her age?
She's the same age on both birthdays, but she just has 2.
See, I think. I have even 2 years difference.
Oh, wow. So you can be younger if you need to be. Or older.
Well, yeah, it depends on which profile I'm on.
Yeah.
It's kind of the hairdresser thing.
So one of your profiles goes to Michele and the other one goes to the other guy.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Good tips, guys. If you came for Academy of Hair, you got it tonight.
Yeah.
But
and if you need proper advice, I have an expert to talk about all the Rockstar thing. It's the drummer of the Scorpions, Herman Reverb. Herman is the expert on all of that. He knows exactly how to go to a party, how much to drink, when to get drunk guitar players back into the hotel, when to leave the whole thing. how you marry, what is the kind of contract you have to do, because he has lost 3 houses and a bunch
So maybe don't take his advice. then.
well, now he can look back at all the mistakes he has done, and now he
So
knows.
he's learned his lesson.
Yeah.
He learned the lesson.
3 times.
That lesson, but he learned many other lessons too, and I know all the stories. And it's he's such a nice guy, and he's a real pro. And this guy has experienced a lot. So I'm just a boring Hermann the German.
Herman's a German.
But that's the interesting thing about playing with older guys that have been rock stars back in the day when rock stars were rock stars. Well, for me, one thing is when I was a kid, I saw them, I don't know, on TV and I listened to their records, and now to play with those kind of guys is one thing which is really nice. But the other thing is they can tell stories.
Yeah.
Because they were, like I said, they were rock stars when there were still rock stars, and that's actually the best part of a tour. Sitting in a car in a bus with them and listen to their stories.
When your drummer tells you, well, on the way on the stage, I didn't make it, so I got lost because too drunk or whatever, and somebody had to repair the teeth, and Moni, she works at the dentist, no problem. 15 minutes, fresh teeth. Gig was going on, all these kind of stories. Unbelievable. Or, bass players, my good dear friend Raoul Walton simply disappeared on stage because some girl was waving at him, and Raoul, I'm in heaven number, whatever, cloud number 9. And then he tried to she was waving with a t-shirt, giving him the t-shirt. So he was moving to the edge of the stage on a hard case, on a flight case. Well, the flight case, the wheels were not locked, so the bass player disappeared. The band was playing on with no bass player on stage. You could hear poof, clonk, nothing there. And then suddenly, this is on video with Marius Müller-Westernhagen, you can see there's a bass coming, from under the stage, clonk on stage, and then 3 people lift the bass player back on stage.
And then the bass took 3 people.
Yeah. And then Raoul goes on, it's like, and Marius didn't notice anything. This is all on TV. I've seen it. Hilarious. But this is about stories.
Yeah.
And this is actually something we should do one day. I have 2 promoters that actually wanted to come to the show, and somehow it didn't work out. Dragan is a local guy, and Georgie, and these people book all the rock stars. I mean, we are talking ZZ Top, Jeff Beck, Joe Satriani and them all. That's the guys, and Dragan was doing Santana and them all. They know stories unbelievable. I will invite them. Dragan, by the way, is still practicing Bonanza. Because that's the only song he can play, and he played that with everybody, with B.B. King, with Larry Carlton, and he's still practicing. And well, it's he didn't ring and said, I know the song now again. So anyway, one day he'll be sitting here.
Yes, we look forward to that.
Yeah.
And going back to the list of great episodes, someone else who I think probably has a lot of rock and roll stories is our friend from Finland, Olga Valovirta.
Yeah.
And I see already that David and Poo Ninja have said that episode 72 with Olga was a great one. We had a lot of votes for that, and you liked it as well. So here is a clip of you and Olga doing your thing.
Yeah, I was just in contact with Olga because he has done a new Kyra album, which came out. And when I finish my video next week, I will contact him, and we might see him again, which is fun because he's such a guy. First, he's like that Nordic 2.5 meters guy, and his humor is brilliant. His playing is such a great guy. I just love him.
Yeah, super cool. We need to meet him, maybe on Guitar Summit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more to talk about with him. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's another tall blonde guy from from the Netherlands, Adrian Vandenberg. Maybe you guys have seen it. He was on Tone Talk by David Friedman, and he's using the Iridium, and he's using a Friedman amp. But he was talking the stories about how he works with the Iridium for fly gigs, and maybe another tall guy to be here in the studio.
Yeah.
We'll
We have
see.
a long list of tall guys coming in, and also blonde guys. And I don't know if the next person we're going to mention classes as tall. Gundi Keller. He's got decent height, right? He's definitely blonde.
He's definitely blonde. Yeah.
He's blonde. He's a bit taller than myself, and he's always got a great haircut. If you know Gundi from the past, his haircuts were wild.
Do you think he went to Michaela or to your guy opposite the ice cream shop?
I think he went to even harder
Oh, wow.
hairdressers. But hey, Gundi was always top notch.
Yeah, and Gundi is the expert with digital modeling and the
Yeah.
4 cable method. And
Yeah.
in episode 18, we brought him in and he did a lot of 4 cable stuff. And you
We
jammed,
jammed.
and it sounded a bit like this.
See, this is a real jam. Yeah. And by the way, we have Ali Neander coming up next.
Yes.
Yeah, and I had him on the phone today. Yeah, just before this, because he wanted a very special guitar in black and white, almost like this, but slightly different. Because he's going on tour with Moses Perlam, which is the German rapper, the biggest of them all. Well,
Physically
the
least,
biggest, okay.
physically, and he's also a big act. And somehow the stage show is kind of in black and white. So anyway, I made some connection with him, and he's a great guy, always very cynical, good humor, fantastic player. I'm his fan. Anyway, shall we check out that clip?
Yeah, and it's only 4 weeks old from episode 96, but it was a great one, and
Yeah.
you guys did some great jams.
groovy. And his guitar, he has a collection of super great guitars because, well, first he has great guitars like his 56 Strat, and so, but this guitar he just played was also great, and he likes that, you know, special look guitar, special character. My favorite guitar from his collection is the Gaswasser-Scheiße guitar. Gas,
Water shit.
Water shit, because somebody put a Strat together out of the piping of, you know, gas tubes and water tubes, and with all the knobs that you have, you know, for plumbing. Anyway, so that's A Linie Under. Another clip we have here is for Mick Wall. He was here last week? Ah, yeah. And I learned a big lesson because last week we were into the jazz territory and I had a very warm, clean tone in a way that I usually don't do it, but this made me think. And that's the good thing about Academy of Tone. Even myself still get inspired by meeting other people with other concepts. And since I had that that clean tone experience with Mick, I borrowed an amp with my friend Klaus, and he said me, but so he has another concept again, and I learned I have my concept in clean tone, there is Mick's concept in clean tones, there's Klaus's concept in clean. It's like, man, that's deep. I'm already seeing so many different clean tone concepts I've never saw before. That was the great thing about it. The clip we have is from the first time Mick was here, right?
Yeah, which was episode 54, so already over a year ago. But
Yeah.
again, it was full of great clean tones, and it sounds a bit like this.
Yeah, now something completely different, you know, after jazz. Anyone knows Helge Schneider, the German comedian?
So many German people have made me listen to Helge Schneider songs.
And you don't get it?
I understand the Käsebrot one, but the rest of it is
Käsebrot,
too
yeah.
hard for me to understand.
Okay, for the Germans, they all know Helge Schneider, yeah. For the international people, it's a comedian who is actually a brilliant musician. Yeah. He plays great. He plays jazz. He plays a lot of different styles. But he's a comedian. So when he says jazz, he says again, can you say the jazz? And then he makes videos like in English with a very strong German accent. Playing the drum, good looking while drumming. And and I have the stick here and the Beckenständer. Becken, you know. You have to watch Helge Schneider. Jazz. Okay, now something completely different, which is Kiss.
Kiss.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about this Kiss. Actually, this is we have a super special interview at the end of this episode, which is Kat Dyson. She played with Prince. Yeah, And yeah, but now we listen to something with Rish. Can you hear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that the way it's pronounced properly?
Is that how he taught you to say his name?
No, this is just what I can do.
That's how you learned it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you can do.
This is what I can do. Yeah. No, Unreal the Strength is the band he's playing in. We go back a bit longer, and we had fun with some good old Kiss songs.
Yeah. They actually just played in Reno in Texas? No, Reno, Nevada.
Nevada.
On Sunday, and Rish had his Iridium on stage.
Cool.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did a fly gig with it. Went very, very well.
Yeah.
So Unveil the Strength is the band. 7-string Madness on his Strandberg guitar is what Rish does with the
Yeah.
Iridium, and you guys jammed, and it
Yeah.
sounded more like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was another episode about Ozzy Osbourne's guitar player, which I done with Manuel Kettenring.
Yeah. Episode 58.
Yeah,
That
and
was.
Manuel, I saw you in the chat somewhere. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the expert when it comes to this kind of 80s style, you know. It was his birthday. Ozzy Osbourne's guitar player. Oh,
Randy Rhoads?
Randy Rhoads, of course. Yeah, his birthday was like a week and a half ago, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, died way too young. Crash with a plane. Don't go on small planes, you know. This is where you guitar players die on small planes. Drummers die in bed.
Bass players fall off stages. Yeah.
See, this is life can be dangerous.
Yeah. As a musician, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But episode 58, Ozzy's guitar players, you
Yeah.
and Manuel Kettenring went through a load. This was requested by a lot of people, including David Matai in the comments here. He says that you spoke briefly about him in the comments, and he enjoyed that a lot. And this is one of the jams from that episode.
Yep. Check it out. Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne had so many great guitar players. And Manuel, if you're still there, you hear me, I think we have not covered them all. there's more, and I have to learn a bit more from that side, because they're good. Ozzy always had the best Guitar Hero guitar players.
He does. So do you know who he should get this year if he needs a new Guitar Hero?
This year,
Yeah.
well, I mean, Gus G was playing with him.
Yeah.
He, by the way, he is coming to Guitar Summit.
Yes.
So I will jam with Gus and some other people.
Yeah. Where I was going with that was actually John Mayer.
Okay, John Mayer and...
Didn't see that coming.
No, John Mayer and
That's
Ozzy
my
Osbourne.
segue to the next video.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, take it away with John Mayer then.
Yeah, exactly. No, John Mayer is the guitarist right now that everyone talks about. Well, him together with Bonamassa.
Yeah.
And another episode that you guys loved was episode 71, where Thomas was joined by our
Fabian.
good German friend Fabian Ratzak, and they did some John Mayer jams, and some of them sounded a little bit like this.
Yeah, in the chat I can see Manuel Kettenring is still there. Hi there, Manuel. And in the next clip, I was borrowing.
Borrowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Burr. Okay,
Yeah.
boring. Boring. I was boring.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I was boring. No, I was boring.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you that anyway.
Manuel's guitar to play something iconic from the hero of the heroes, I would say. Well, if it's not Jimi Hendrix, it must be EVH, Eddie Van Halen. So check out that little clip here with Manuel's guitar. He brought it. I played on his guitar. Yeah. Well, that's a lot of information if you have to remember that solo. And as you can tell, I was kind of doing interpretation and not note by note because I don't have the time to learn guitar that deep anymore. I can do my thing, and it's fun to do the Eddie style things, but it's cool. Yeah, I saw one comment by David Mattei. Manuel was using the pick for tapping. The pick works equally well as the finger. It has a brighter sound, as you could hear. So that's a thing to do, but Eddie would probably do it more with fingers. Manuel did it with a pick, but I'm sure Manuel does both. I do both as well, so that's yeah, all good. What's the other thing? No, mayonnaise. No. Okay, we don't go. We don't go into that one.
No, but that was some of the best performances from the last 100 episodes, as voted for by you, Thomas, and by everyone out there. So thank you to everybody who wrote a comment and said what your favourite piece was. We're very appreciative that so many people told us about their favourite performances.
Yep.
And there will be many more cool ones to come in the next 100.
Of course.
Plans are afoot.
Yeah. And you never know what happens. That's the good thing for me. And you guys, you will be surprised. I will be surprised first, and then you can watch me being surprised.
Yeah.
And we have a little, like, what is it, giveaway thing?
Yeah, episode 100, we said we'd give away some stuff. We're not going to give away Thomas's guitar like he teased in the little video that we did. But
No, but I can tell you, I cleaned the guitar a bit.
Yeah, I can clearly tell.
Yeah.
it's pristine now.
Mad.
Yeah.
No, I took it apart for a 3D measurement, and there's no scratch. Everything is in absolutely perfect order these days. Stays in tune like crazy. It's like there's no hum. I just looked after the guitar. It's the best Strat in my house.
Yeah.
And maybe the best Strat ever.
Probably.
But your guitar is now totally fresh, and we want to give some of you guys the chance to win some fresh Blue Guitar t-shirts.
Yeah, totally fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the question?
We've got 3 shirts to give away, one of each of the ones that we're wearing here. And we want to keep this nice and simple, and we're going to need some audience participation to win the shirts. So Thomas, Kai and I each came up with a number between 1 and 100 before the show. And what we want you guys to do is guess that number. So just start guessing numbers in the chat between 1 and 100.
And then you get, if you have to hit the right number that we put down here, you get the shirt that I wear.
No. If you get Rich's number, you get that shirt. If you get your number,
my shirt,
the one
and
shirt,
then Kai's shirt.
If you guess my number.
So
if you want to win a shirt, start guessing numbers. No one's got it so far. Hardy, points for amusement, but no.
What was yours? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Close.
Some close.
Yeah, close.
Oh, we got one.
Yeah, we got one.
Johnny Love, 22. That's my shirt. You've won my shirt.
Fuck, there's numbers
Well done.
coming.
Whoa.
Only Ollie.
Huh?
Only Ollie won. He's got the 66.
Where?
That was back up there.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
Thomas's shirt.
You get a 1.
So there's my shirt left. Well, not mine, but the one with the Academy of Tone logo.
Oh yeah, there's
Not
numbers
there yet.
coming.
Not there yet. Come on, guys.
Come on, there's only 100 numbers.
There you go, Johnny Love again.
No,
Johnny
Johnny's
Love.
won. Johnny's got 2.
Wow. Okay, then.
Can we let Johnny Love have 2? Shall we?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, this is fair. If somebody is.
Okay. Everyone had the same chance.
Thanks for participating, guys, but it's over.
Yeah, now
Stop
it's too late.
typing random numbers into the chat. Please.
Hey, we have to know which size you want.
Yes.
you
So
want.
Johnny Love and Only Ollie,
Ollie.
the two winners. Congratulations! Please write us an email with your postal address and a contact phone number and the size of the T-shirts, and we will get them posted out to you.
Yeah. And you can write that email to service@bluguitar.com.
Service at BluGuitar.com.
Yeah.
That works best. Do we have the three guys again? I mean, we had Johnny. Who were the winners?
Johnny Love, he won two of them. He
Yeah.
won my shirt and he won
And
So,
mine.
yeah, so
Kai's shirt.
and this
we only have
and-
two.
Yeah, we have two winners. Johnny
Okay.
Love got very lucky, and Only
Yeah.
Ollie won your shirt, Thomas.
You were Lily Fate Rider.
There was actually. Oh, well, we should say the numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the numbers were 66,
Yeah.
53, and 22.
Yeah, and this was written before we started this episode, so there was kind of
Yeah,
the secret thing before we started.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was quite fun, and I think we all enjoyed that, so maybe we
Yeah.
should do it
Yeah.
again sometime. So,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was some funny 60 seconds there.
yeah. But
You guys
enough
type
with the excitement for now. Let's go on to the Sound Finder, because that was the other thing that we wanted to tackle tonight, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Okay, maybe give you maybe we give you the current update of the knowledge-based sound finder on Blugipedia. So first, thanks for the name Blugipedia. We've done that, and one of the biggest requests always has been, I want that tone and blah blah blah. How to get there? And well, you have to understand it takes a certain guitar. It needs, maybe the blue box or a certain speaker setup, but the sound finder gives you a good starting point, a good hint how to do that.
Yeah.
And hey, one thing comes to mind. Do we have Mr. Scorpions? Okay, here comes, because I had the pleasure with Rudolf Schenker, and he played some Scorpions with the Mercury edition. And if you type in,
Well,
is it working?
Let's share my screen. I don't know if it's on.
Aha.
Okay. One thing that should be mentioned, we have the all those categories here, and I remember that we had a request that the Sound Finder should have a category of its own, which doesn't really make sense for other reasons. You can, if you type in a question, as you can see here, I'll type in a question. For example, the word finder, and then I can filter by categories over here. And since the AMP Finder is only one article, it doesn't make sense to give it a whole category. So all you have to do is just type in Finder, and just the first article that comes up is the AMP1 Sound Finder. And what's new is that we finally have the English version of it. We started out in German only. And now it's available in German and English. And as mentioned before many times, there's two ways to filter to get to your requested sound. You can either filter by the tone of a particular guitarist or a particular band, or you can search by amp type. Let me just show you the amp type thing real quick. We have different amp types here. We don't have all the information in there yet. We're still working on it. Bear with us. It's coming.
Yeah.
But the amp type thing works, pretty obvious. You just choose the amp you'd like to go after with your AMP1, and then we show you which amp you use, which channel you use,
And
all the settings. We always have a video.
Let's just play the video for fun,
Yeah.
because we have to. Academy of Tone. This is the A/B comparison between a real 1955 Fender Bassman 410 combo and with all original RCA tubes, blah blah blah, 6L6 versus our AMP1 Mercury edition on the clean channel, yeah, with a little bit of power soak. And here we go.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, one comment here. You know, for me, it's great when I go to some places and I see some interesting amps like this Tweed Bassman. I bring my AB switch and I have a go on ABing, and that is inspiring. If you look at the settings, what were the settings
On the AMP1 or on the Bassman?
on the AMP1? Okay, here we show that the mids are at 6 and the treble are at 9, but the clean volume is on 10. You know, stuff like that, you would never think of to do that. But, you know, you plug into that vintage Bassman and then you play that amp and there's a sweet spot. And once you found that sweet spot, it's like you look at a Tweed and that's the sound.
And by the way, that sweet spot thing is important too. That's why we have the settings of the
original
Fender amp in this way, and in this case too. So that's those settings that you can see here. That's the sweet spot of the Bassman, and then you start from there and try to get
match
that
it.
sound with the AMP1.
Yeah, and it's an inspiration to do it. Sometimes I can get very, very close, and sometimes I'm just in that ballpark. But at least you get a glimpse of how you could set your AMP1 to get there.
Yeah.
And even sometimes I'm surprised, like, interesting. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the amp type thing, and then the other way, the other way you can filter, which is probably going to be used a lot more, is by certain guitar players, and we have a list of them here. Again, this is going to be continued. This is not going to be it for the rest
It's
of our
open.
days.
Yeah, I mean, we will meet more guys. We will do more samples.
And again, if you guys have any requests of some particular guitar player that you'd like to match with your AMP1, just let us know, and we'll try to come up with a good example and put it in here.
Yeah.
So
do we have Rudolf Schenker Scorpions?
yes, we do.
I want to see that because I've never seen it. I've just been there.
And there is Rudolf Schenker.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And here's the story. I've done this interview with him and I played his 350,000 or 500,000 euros expensive Flying V guitar. And then, just while doing the interview, I had a couple of amps there and I gave him the Iridium and the Mercury, and he instantly came, this is more like my 50 plexus. He's kind of back to the authentic woody tone. And it was like switch, bomb, that's the amp, and a pretty easy setting.
So no wonder he chose the vintage channel on the amp.
Yeah, vintage, Mercury, done.
Yeah.
And I think settings...
Should we listen to it?
Yeah, just a
This
quick
is what
one.
it sounds like.
Yeah, this is how it works for tones, and we have tons more.
Yep.
Any requests or any special things you want to show, Kai?
Not particularly, no. We could show, because I heard somebody say
Slash.
we should show a
Slash
lady
is
around
not
here.
jazz.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it sounds similar.
This is
Slash,
a,
can you play some jazz with Helga?
this is a good example of a sound that can be done with both AMP1s. So we have those cases too. So you can do a Slash sound with an AMP1 Mercury edition on the classic channel in this case, and we have some videos of that. And then if you have the Iridium, there's also a way to get to a Slash tone classic channel again.
Yeah.
And let's see and listen to a girl play some Slash.
Yeah, more girls, please. Yeah.
Yep.
Tons, tones, and it looks like you like the Sound Finder. We could get the comments here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
John Frusciante, yeah.
Yeah, we should add that as well.
And John Mayer, Sebastian says, and of course we just had those great clips from the
Yeah,
Academy of Tones.
Yeah,
so
we put them in there.
we can add
Yeah, we have the
the John Mayer
settings.
sounds.
Yeah.
All the Johns, he said. So any other guitar players named John will
John
start
Paul
adding to
Jones.
the list.
Oh,
So,
he
yeah,
was a bass player.
Guys, please come back and look at this every once in a while. We're gonna it's gonna grow, and I mean, kudos to Lucas, by the way, who's cutting all those videos, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have so many things and so many sounds and tones covered in the Academy of Tones episodes. But there's, like you guys know, there's 100 of them, and somebody has to go back and find them, and then cut the videos, write down the settings, and
You have to upload them and
yeah, and
put them on the side.
that takes a lot of time, so bear with us. But we're going to put it on there.
Yeah, and I see the comment here, Billy Gibbons. Well, we have something with Ali because we played ZZ Top, but again, ZZ Top, they have different phases. You know, the early ZZ Top sounds a bit different from the later one, but at least we have something recorded already. I don't know if it's in there by now or is it still not there, but you know, it's already there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So more to come. But hey, please let us know your requests. We'll cover that. And someday we will have so many examples that there will be not many requests anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think another good one that we could do actually is we got some requests earlier in the episode for people saying what were the tones you were getting for Superstition right at the start.
Ah.
So maybe you can tell us right now.
That's a super simple thing because I played my Thomas Blug setting as usual. I'm on the vintage channel, which means no custom control. I use the boost, and the boost is I didn't put it all the way up. I put it in the middle. And now we are, what are the settings? Gain on full, bass in the middle, treble maybe on 6. No, middle on 6 and the treble on 4. This is my Blue Box Stack 1970. It's my setting.
Yeah, and that's the answer to the question, is there Thomas's tones in there? It's not yet, but I'm going to put it in, of course.
This is my tone.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is what I... Put some echo on top and crank the reverb. A song of mine that has been recorded with this Marshall amp, and if you have the Electric Gallery CD at home, you could simply compare what I played on the CD with what you just heard with the amp 1, and the setup we're having here comes pretty close. On the CD I recorded on real tape, 2-inch tape, analog, with tape saturation and using the original EMT 140 plate reverb, which is 50% of my tone. But amp-wise, I'm so close. Well, this is how it is. But that's my tone. Mind, I have the treble bleed, and it's a lot my guitar. And obviously my fingers.
There is that as well. That's actually a really good point, though. Kai and I were just finalising some of the texts earlier today for the English version of the Sound Finder. Just be aware that the amp is one part of your signal chain.
Yeah.
There are other things like speaker cabinets, guitars, and fingers that
Yeah.
really also influence your tone in a big
Yeah.
way. So, you know, you've got a ballpark from what we have in the Sound Finder, but you might have to tweak a little bit
Sure.
here and there just to get a little bit closer for your individual setup.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to guitars, you know, the pickups are so different. It depends on high output, low output, and the amount of low end you get. When the pickups are close to the strings, you have a lot of boomy bass coming from the pickups, and the hint is always, if the guitar is too muddy and too boomy, reduce the gain or reduce the clean volume. It's so simple. You know, I was shooting the video today and I used the Les Paul, and it's like the Les Paul sounds killer with a vintage channel if the gain is only on 3. I played some Led Zeppelin. It's like, would you play with gain on 3? Actually, you should. And if you need more gain, maybe use the boost. Killer tone. You know, it's just trust your ears. By the way, we have a Led Zeppelin take as well.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yeah.
And I mean, what Rich just said is very true, and this is why we always make some recommendations which guitar type you should use
Yeah.
to get that sound. And we always make a recommendation for a blue box setting, which again stands for a real guitar cabinet. So it gives you an idea how to get close to that sound. So what was your question? Led Zeppelin. Jimmy
Led Zeppelin.
Page.
Jimmy Page. Oh yeah.
There you go. Oh, we have 2 clips. One is you in your living room, and the other one is our friend Martin Freiders.
Yeah.
playing,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Playing some Black Dog. There you go.
Hey, hey, mama said the way you move gon' make you sweat, gon' make you groove. Oh, child, when you shake that thing, gon' make you burn, gon' make you sad. Hey, baby, when you walk that way, but your hearted trip can't keep away.
Yeah. I see a question in the chat. Have any of the 61 Blue Guitar Strats been made for customers yet? Very few. We have a few, but I keep the most of them because they are so good I can't sell them. There is one on every floor in this house. It's like we had to sell a few and I almost had to cry because it's like, fuck, I regret to sell such great guitars. It's there's a few more coming and I'm still working on
And Thomas is going to keep 60% of them.
yeah, well, maybe. The good thing is I don't need that many guitars, but I have. They're all handmade and the aging, and it takes forever, and we are working on the whole thing. The good thing is, with every new guitar we do, we learn more, and they're getting even better, and they are already so good. So good, it's unbelievable. Yeah, bear with us. One day we'll make you happy. I trust your ears would make a great logo for a T-shirt. By the way, thank you. Who's the Stefan Mandl? Mandl sounds very Bavarian to me.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just translate it. To me, he's Stefan Armand.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but there you go. There's an interesting comment from Poo Ninja as well about the plate reverb. Have you ever done a video or an Academy of Tone where you actually had those massive plate reverbs? And if not, can we do that?
Well, I have two of those. One is sitting in the garage of my father, not being used. And the second one is at a friend's studio of mine. And there we could shoot a video. That's actually on my wish list as well, but I have no time. If we should do that, because why should, if I have such a nice plate where I just gave this guy a studio that I worked a lot with or at this studio, and it was sitting in that studio for years. So I just left it with this studio guy, so I still have access. Sometimes I drive there, bring my dry guitar signal and record just the reverb and use that real spring in the mix. And trust me, anything you get from digital devices is not a spring reverb. Spring type reverb is something, but since the EMT is a mechanical device, it's spring plate reverb. I'm sorry, spring reverb is the tank. And the EMT is not a spring, it's a plate reverb. And the plate is a mechanical device just like a spring reverb. And it's non-linear effects. Digital technology has limits to go there because it's kind of endless complex. You will never get there. You can get 100 different things, but never 100%. And that's the plate reverb. And by the way, that's used on all the great records, Van Halen 1 and anything from the 60s. It's such a classic tone. We will, maybe this year, when we have some time, we will shoot it. The plates are still there. If I have more room here, maybe I bring one in here. Oh yeah. Get some blue guitars out and put, the thing is so big. It's like a table tennis, but this wide, and it's the same. It fills half a garage. Just the reverb, just one reverb. Anyway.
Yeah, so maybe we can get that in the next 100 shows.
In the next 100, definitely. Yeah.
And yeah, just what's going to be a massive part of the next 100, and something that maybe we can sort of round this first 100 episode up on, is the AMP X. There have been a couple of questions throughout the show. You've answered a couple of them already about shortages, should I say, of nanotubes. And another question that just came up is, could there be anything that prevents or kind of puts back the launch of the AMP X in June?
Actually not, because we still have tons of things to do, and AMP X we are designing, or we are creating a platform that will grow, because it's analog but digitally controlled, so that the software can be updated, and there will be new effects, and there will be new features and that thing. So it's kind of never really finished, but the hardware is kind of finished, and we are going to NAMM, the four of us actually. And you will see the launch of the AMP X straight from Anaheim, California, on the 3rd or whatever it was, June.
The 3rd of June.
3rd of June,
Yeah. And it's good to have a deadline, guys. If you don't put a deadline on something, nothing will happen. So I'm very happy that NAMM is actually on. So that would be the only thing that would kill that. And to prevent the launch of the AMP X, it's like, no, we're going to show. Yes, we show it. And so we have to work towards that date. And, stay tuned. We will show you our AMP X in Anaheim. So it's going on. What else is this here? Vintage guy t-shirt. Huh? What? I want a me being the vintage guy shirt, okay? With a cartoon Thomas face. Okay. Anyway, do we have any more important comments for now?
We have one question here that I think has been answered before, but we're happy to answer it again. Is there any way to pre-order the AMP X? Well, not yet.
Not yet, but maybe
there
after
will be,
this launch, because there are certain things, everything kind of falls into place, and as time moves on, we have a clearer picture, and then we start something like a pre-sale. Yeah. That's something we talked about a lot, but we want to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, we're not going to do that until we are sure that we can keep the promise we make.
Yeah,
so.
I mean
that's important. So it's going to take some time.
Yeah,
but you will all get your.
And of course, there's
your
international things with components issues, but so far, it's looking good. I mean, it's like we changed already a few components to make sure that we have no supplies shortages. That took time to redesign, but at this point everything looks actually smooth. That's now we never know what happens, but I'm pretty positive, and we spent a lot of time already on the project, and we will do a bit more, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Okay. I'm waiting for my Thing 2 shirts. What's Poo Ninja? Thing 2? Thing 1? I just know the... Song 2.
Song 2, yeah.
Yeah. What is Thing 2? It's the AMP2.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there will be X shirts, I tell you, because I have one. Already, long sleeves, and looks cool, just like the one, but with an X on it. Okay, I think we should move to some very exciting part of this episode with a killer guitar player from Los Angeles. It's a she, and we probably meet very soon in, I think it was May. Was it May or April?
Yes. Yeah.
May, when she is coming to Europe, touring Paris, and then coming to Luxembourg, which is not too far from here. And she's one of the greatest female guitar players that I know. Unbelievable, nice person, super sense of humor, and of course AMP1 user. And she played with some of the greatest, and one of them is Prince. She's coming to Europe with Zucchero. Zucchero is an Italian Bruce Springsteen, I would put it in that category.
Senza una donna.
Yeah, and quite a character. Yeah, and she's on tour with AMP1, and I guess with a twin cab this time. She was using nano cabs and, our cabs and our amps many times. And yeah, check out my interview with Kat Dyson. And hey, thanks guys for being here. Next week, it's me and Alex Bayreuth. And us very soon. But hey, check out Kat Dyson, because we pre-recorded that interview, but it's killer.
Yes, and thank you everyone for tuning in, celebrating the 100th episode.
100.
If you're still here, drop a like on the video, drop a subscription on the channel, because there's so much more exciting content to come from us. And it's always worth subscribing. It helps us out, helps more people see the videos.
And for
so
the t-shirt winners, drop us an email with your postal address and the size you like.
Yeah. 100. No, on this side. 100. Okay, 100. Okay.
There you go.
Thanks. Enjoy Kat Dyson. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big pleasure to have Miss Kat Dyson here on our little live stream. Kat has been around for decades, being with the biggest artist on the planet. Currently, she is touring with Zucchero, the Italian legend, Oh yeah, and has been touring with Cyndi Lauper, and well, the true legend of Prince. Um, yeah, we met I think 20 years ago, maybe, or how old are we anyhow?
It's better to just say the number and let people come up with it. We met like in 2004.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Them count the years. You don't count.
Yeah, that's correct. So, Kat, first thing I would like to ask you in COVID times, how could you survive?
With AMP One.
Oh,
I tell you, once people started, and I've been doing this since I've had AMP One anyway.
Yeah.
But once people started sending more digital files and recording more direct at home and doing all that other stuff, it was easy for me because
plug in.
Even before AMP One, I had your Hughes and Kettner, absolutely unbelievable creations. So I've been doing direct, and they all had Redbox out, and they all had Sims, and so I've kind of been in that area, right? Since you teach me, because you're my teacher, because I'm an electronic idiot. I'm an idiot, but I know what I like when I hear the right tone, and you help me get faster rather than buying stuff and trying stuff and having stuff just because people say, oh, you need to have this. Oh, you got to have, to come in the studio, I need to see this, and when they open themselves up to close your eyes, listen to the sound I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Then they take all that, well, if you don't have a Marshall with a blah, 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 you can't come here. You don't look rock worthy. And if you don't have the Fender Twin with the silver back and the file, all this technical stuff. So I've been doing recording digitally, like I said, for a long time. So AMP One just made it even easier. And I sent you a clip that I did with Paul Peterson. He does this thing called Funk Fridays. He started doing it, and I did that in my house with a gold PRS Custom 24. My little pedal board, it has like a Digitech 355, which they don't even make that model anymore, and your amp. Yeah. And that's, people are like, oh, you get that solo tone. I'm like, I've had that for like, I don't know how long, because, it's you. You open the door to me being able to get the sounds I want without having to have 5 trucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
and 3 roadies.
Yeah. Hey, I know you've been using my creations for a long time, and you told me a few funny stories back a few years when you played kind of the She Awards. What was that? The She Rock Awards, 2017, with Jennifer Batten and who else was there, and what happened there? Something.
Well, we our band is called Rock Sugar. It's an all-female collective, and it moves and changes members depending on who's around, but it's always females, right? I think that particular band included Benita Lewis on drums, Divinity Rocks on bass, Lynette on keys, and myself. And every year they give out awards to all kinds of great women in the business that are also in the merchandise, but also musicians. And Jennifer was there, and I think Neely Brush, all the Led Zeppelin girls were there. We've done it with Melissa Etheridge. We've done it with, everybody's been there. They gave one year, I think that night they gave an award to Shaka Khan, and then Esmeralda Spalding has been there. So, all these girls come in, and they got, the girls that are playing guitar, they got their rock gear and they got that stuff, and Jennifer and I found out about your amp, AMP One, because I had lost contact with you when you left Hughes and
Kettner,
Kettner,
right?
and nobody tell me you were gone.
Well, be obvious.
And we're doing this thing, and Jennifer, you know, she's got, you know, the Marshall cab, and she's setting up. And this was, you know, before when I saw her, right?
Yeah.
And she pulls out what looks like a, you know, purse, like a, you know, over your shoulder. And she pulls this thing out of the purse, sets it on top of this Marshall cab, and it's a double ballroom because, you know, it was the big ball, it was huge. And she like blows up the room, and I'm like, oh my God. And that particular year, I think I still had my Hughes and Kettner, but every year following that,
yeah, you had an AMP1.
I used, and I would always use, you know, they always had the cabs, they had the Marshall cabs. So nobody, you know, the other girls that would come over and look like, well, where's your amp? I'm like, it's right there. You know, and I played with Lizzie Hale, and, you know, from the heaviest rockers to the, you know, smooth rockers to, you know, Otis Redding's sister was there. We did, you know, Respect, you know, so yeah. I've been able to do, you know, and Divinity did a great version of Black Betty. I mean, so from, you know, I was able to ease into every style that, you know, I was asked to do, and we played the bumpers. Mm-hmm. So it was an award show. So every time they would announce them, play a different bumper. 1 minute is walk this way. The next minute is don't stop till you. The next minute is, you know, you know, so
you have to be flexible.
I don't have to worry. You know? Yeah. There's stuff I never have to worry.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. This is a song that I heard when I was a teenager. And so on.
Yeah.
I guess you had to play that part many times.
Yes. Many times in many different ways and many different combinations. We've done it acoustically.
Yeah.
She's playing dulcimer, and I'll be playing like a 12-string droney thing, and we've done it electric, you know, with the floaty 80s chorus.
Yeah. Chorusy, clouds. What a beautiful song. I like that song. When, you know, I mean, this was when I was a teenager, you know, when this song came out, it meant a lot to me. This was a beautiful song. Mm-hmm. And I think you are blessed to be in some of the, you know, in those beautiful musical projects. I mean, you know, playing such beautiful, meaningful songs. And of course, let me ask, how was it to play with Prince? I mean, my idol and Mr. Unbelievable. He was, to me, you know, being a teenager, he was surprising me with every record. You know, there's a new Prince record. What's going on next? You put it in and Sign of the Times, or, you know, it's just, he was killing it. Every record was such a surprise. It was the next level of pop, imaginary, extraordinary. I was just blown away by everything he did. I mean, you met him, you played with him. How was it?
Well, it was a combination of things. I have 4 brothers. As a kid, I'm the oldest of 7. So on that level, it was like being around a family of brothers and sisters that all did music all day, all the time, all day, all the time. I mean, we virtually, when we got into Paisley, it would be, time would go by because you're just there working. And all the rooms would either, you know, somebody working on choreography, somebody working on parts, somebody playing some stuff, video people in another room, you know, sound stage. They had, you know, movies in post-production, I think when I was there, they were working on post-production for remember the film Grumpy Old Man? They did all the post-production stuff because a lot of that was shot in Minneapolis. A lot of movies are shot there. And they were doing a lot of that. It was like being in I'm not going to say a factory, but just like a music beehive. It was just
Yeah.
buzzing with stuff going on. And, I mean, one day I was just doodling around and playing some voicings, and he would be like, how do you do that? And he's like, okay, come play that chord on this song that I just wrote. And I'm like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So there was always something going on. So it was like being in a beehive, but it was also like being in a constant master class,
Mm-hmm.
and just being in a family, because, once you're there, you're there,
Yeah.
They had a kitchen, they had everything. I mean, maybe we would go out for food if we just wanted to break it up, but you could cook your own food, and everybody just dug each other, and, dug each other's company. We just got the work done. And, he moves at a pace that you have to get used to.
Okay. Yeah.
Accelerate your game.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And right before I got there, some engineer had taken their rehearsals, because he does take the rehearsals. All the rooms are connected to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I don't know if they did it because they got fired or what, but someone made tapes of their rehearsals and packaged them up as product and sold them in Europe. So when I got there, he wouldn't allow anybody, none of us musicians, to tape the rehearsals. So
Yeah.
if he made changes to songs that you knew as standard, he would make,
Yeah.
changes. He's like, unless you're a genius, write it down. So I'd have one hand on the guitar and the other hand
Wow.
And he's standing next to me
Yeah.
in my ear saying, instead of that part, I want you to play this. So he's
Uh-huh.
standing next to me, playing the part. I'm looking at my hands, trying to mimic him and writing it down at the same time.
Wow.
I had a shorthand that I kind of used, but I had to develop it. And I think I wrote out of maybe 130 something songs at last count by the time we left to go on tour, because,
Wow.
he wanted a lot of catalog at his available, because we never did the same set every night.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard about that. But
And we had the late night parties too,
so you had like after show gigs.
until 5 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But I mean, this is passion. It's true passion, I guess. Yeah. Talking about passion, when I look at your Instagram page, sometimes I see some very nice words, and I kind of really agree on the stuff that you put out there. Mental things. It's like, I don't know, it's the vibe that tells you the truth, not the words or stuff like that, And well, sometimes I'm too much of a thinker in a way that I forget about that. And when I'm, swiping through my Instagram, and then, suddenly, oh, there's Kat. And sometimes I think, wow, that's deep. That's actually, it refreshes my mind to read the post that you do there. And it seems like you are aware of the real life, because there's
the brain needs a pause,
Yeah.
just like the body needs sleep.
Yeah.
And taking a moment out of every day, even if it's, if it's more, I find out more great things happen. But taking a moment to just breathe in the awesomeness of that moment, though the one before it might not have been great, or the one coming might not be perfect, but taking the moment to bask in something that was a tiny miracle or a little victory, or to just exhale and say, okay, clean slate. I'm just going to put on some solfeggio frequencies, which Carlos Santana got me into, which is another thing.
What? Tell me the Carlos story. I have a Carlos story. Just one sec. Once me being at NAMM, doing my Whitley demos. I mean, when the noise police wasn't looking for me, so I was playing there, and I was totally into it. And Whitley, and then I looked this corner, and I closed my eyes, and I was into the music. I opened my eyes, and I saw a face that, whoops, who's that? And I closed my eyes again, and this was Mr. Santana. He smiled at me, And of course, I wasn't expecting anything like that. He was just standing like that, checking me out, just having fun with a bunch of people, and then, wow, this was, he had that energy, he had that, and a positive spirit that wow, I had to finish my song, but they disappeared. Otherwise, would started having a talk. So anyway, what's your Carlos story then?
Well, he's drawn to the vibe,
Yeah.
I first met him on the gig with Prince, and we were in California in his hometown, and we rehearsed this Santana medley, right? So
okay.
he was gonna come up, and we rehearsed this medley of songs that Prince and him. I don't know if he had anything to do with it, if it was just Prince, but they had picked out this set of songs, and we rehearsed it, right? So it's gonna be Prince and Santana playing through this medley, right? So he came to the show. Before the show, we always gather, before the show, and take them, gather ourselves and then go get it.
Yeah.
He came and held hands with us and did like a meditation kind of prayer kind of thing. It was all vibey, it was all cool. So we play the show. So we come back for the encore. Carlos comes on stage, plug in, right? Rah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. So, and what I didn't say before is during the meditation, he was talking with Prince, blah, 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 but he came over and he held my hand. I never met him before, but he's always been like, one of my touchstones as well.
Sure.
So we go up to do this big encore, and they're plugged in, and rah, 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 and the band is back, and Prince and Carlos up front, right? Mm-hmm. So they're playing, we're playing, and they're into the thing, and then they start soloing, and Prince is soloing, and Carlos soloing, and then Carlos looks back at me and goes, and I'm like, just y'all know, no. And every time we would play, and Prince would play, he'd be like, come up, play with us. I'm like, I'm the support guitar player in this thing.
Yeah.
And we met each other years later because, of course, he married a very good friend of mine. He married Cindy Blackmore,
the drummer.
Yeah, and he said, I felt your vibe, dude. I was watching the whole show, and you should have come up and played with us. I'm like, that wasn't my job. But I go and visit him, and he's always got something plugged in, and it doesn't even matter where we are. He just hands me a guitar. He's like, as long as you're singing through it, don't worry about it. Long as it contains your voice, don't worry about how fast or how flowery or how, technically magnificent it will be.
Yeah.
I had a chance to meet B.B. King way back in the day when I was playing with Colin James, who's a Canadian jazz guitarist.
Yeah.
And B.B. let me touch Lucille. Man, the strings are so heavy on that thing. And now I know why he shook it like that, because you had to, couldn't get any sound.
Yeah.
And he said to me, they want me to come to this college and speak. And I never went to school past the age of 13. I'm like, baby, you got a lot to teach. You don't even know. He's like, I just play 3-4 notes. That's all. I said, but it's where you play them.
Exactly.
And if you can do something that can touch the human spirit in music, whatever style you play, then you did your part, because I am of the belief that we are public servants. I don't care how big our star is. I don't care how famous our name is. But if you don't realize that you're serving the public, you need to reset your parameters, because music is to be enjoyed by the masses.
Yeah.
Not just done by you sitting in your little room, in your mom's basement, reveling at your speed and your talent and, putting it up on YouTube. That's cute. But go out.
Yeah.
Feel people, get something back, because you can get your likes and stuff on YouTube. And I tell my students this. You can get your likes on YouTube and Instagram and all that. You can, get a little paid or whatever it is. But until you go out and can say 100,000 people were in that room, 20,000 people in there, 12 people were in that room, and somebody said, yeah, or somebody was.
Yeah, that's your job. That's what it's all about.
It's the elevation of the vibration, brother.
Yeah, and that's I'm totally with you. The biggest moments for me as a musician also is when I can see that that I reach the audience. You know, I was so lucky to be opening in an opening band for Michael Jackson with Jennifer Batten back in the days in 1997, and there was 120,000 people in front of you, and I had a 3-minute guitar solo because our female singers had the 3 minutes to change dresses. So, you know, they had a drink and go, come on, go on, whittle, you know. But I had 3 minutes to entertain 120,000 people, hopefully with meaningful notes, with something, you know. And I know that's a lot of responsibility. And that's one thing that is a lot of fun and hard. But on the other hand, if you play to 3 people in a little room, you know, last year I played at a funeral. This was the deepest thing ever, you know, in church. But I played for the friend of mine who died. But, you know, I touched people and I did it for him.
But
and
this didn't lead you.
Yeah.
The point.
Yeah.
Everything we do that's tactical, of course, the brain is, you know, the air traffic controller.
Yeah.
But what fuels the brain?
Yeah.
The energy that comes in, the energy that goes out. How
Exactly.
you feel.
Yeah.
How your brain is then gonna, because people will say, oh, I'm led by my brain. I'm like, yeah, not really. There's 2 sides of the brain, you know.
Yeah.
And they both have to be in balance for things to come out right.
Absolutely.
You know? So I have been blessed beyond measure to, you know, to be in alignment with, you know, some of the best and brightest. And I tell people when they ask me, I say, well, look, God is my agent. I just go where he tells me to go, because opportunities come from sometimes out of the air, out of nowhere, out of word of mouth. I was somebody, you know, I was at a club in LA, and like, you know, it was a local jam, and, you know, on a Sunday, and I look up and Quincy Jones is there, and Bernard Fowler, the Stones is there, and Ivan Neville is, you know, there, and they're playing Papa was a Rolling Stone, and the guitar player who was from Tom Petty's band didn't know the part. And they said, oh, that girl played with Prince, she should come up.
He knows it.
And I played somebody else's guitar, and then I made amazing friendships from just knowing the song at the right time at a jam session.
Yeah.
You know, so it all, you know, it all flows, it all happens. I mean, and I think that one of the main components, you know, that I try to impart, especially to my students, is that unless you have a mind to just have your own band and forge your own path, you have to not only serve the music, but be in a good vibration with your band members, be in a good vibration with the people, be in a good vibration when you give that gift out. Because if you give it out like, look at me, I am superior, I am rah, 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 then it will come off as sterile as you give it. But if you give it like you're giving them something like, I just cooked this really good pie and it's delicious.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
You know, and
for you.
And you put a scoop of ice cream on top, you give them a nice fork, you know what I mean? And you serve it up to the people, and all they can go is, this is the best pie I ever had. You know, so if you give it with your heart. I mean, I watched your clip with Jennifer, and she's talking about that album with End It Now as Lovers. And she and I had a discussion that Jeff was being played by R&B stations more than anybody else because of that song. Because the rock stations didn't know that song, and they didn't even know what the heck it was. But it's a song that Denise Williams sang. I believe Stevie Wonder wrote it, something.
Yeah. This is a composition by Stevie.
And we have, you know, in the R&B, when it gets late at night, they have before the smooth jazz turn came up, they would call it the, you know, we have the quiet storm. These are the quiet, you know, yeah. And the DJs would just start it out with it. And it's just, you know, it was like what all the dudes would go like, so you went, this was pre-Sade. So you party. The girls, you could do better. And this is the DJs, and they're using Jeff's song. So I got to know him through R&B radio, through Black radio.
Cool.
I knew about the things he had done earlier, but he broke wide for us, especially for every guitar player of color I know, because of that record. And he just I was like, wow. And we, that, if you don't know that song, if you can't play that song.
Yeah, he's.
So when I got a chance to meet him, I said, Jeff, I heard you on a little station down in Virginia with a guy named, Jack Holmes. He was an R&B DJ. And Jeff's like, really? I said, yeah. And with Zucchero, who does a lot of duets with a lot of people, I was able to play with Jeff, and he was giving little tips and talking, and got a chance to see him up close. So like I said, vibration is everything.
Right. Hey, so cool. We are running out of time here, but I think you are in Europe touring with Zucchero in what was it? April. March, April
through July. Yes.
Yeah.
Just go to zucchero.it and click on the tour page, and all the dates are gonna be there.
Yeah, and you can see her on the stage, on some of the nicest.
I'll be working along with Nikki Glaspie and Divinity Rocks with a new artist named Brittany Davis. She's a blind keyboard player, spoken word singer, songwriter.
Okay.
Amazing. And we're doing a tiny desk with her. And I'll also be working with my funk band with Nikki and the guys from Ghost Note. It's called Kamani. And I'm also a part of a Sharon Jones type of project with a group called Bella Brown and the Jealous Lovers. And we're getting a lot of play in Europe. It's classic R&B stuff, but we also write music that's in that style where we got, the regiment horns and some of the guys from Tower Power. So we got real horns, real drums, real B3. It's real R&B but it's, recording for now. Carol Hatchett and Dan Pearson front that. Carol was one of Bette Midler's singers back in the day, and she fronts the band, and it's so much fun to do and so much fun to play. So I got a few projects out there that I'm having fun with and I'm proud of, and I'm trying to write my own, but I'm having too much fun playing with other people right now.
Yeah, I checked out the Bella Brown stuff. That it sounds. It sounds real. It's kind of authentic, but it's new. But it has the vibe. It has the vibe. You put it on, and hey, it changes the day. The moment you put that music on, it's like, it has the vibe.
Yeah, the European DJs are loving us. They're loving us. So hopefully, once the Zucchero's thing is done, we'll be making our way over to Europe with those bands as well. And I'm always listening to you. I'm always shedding on your stuff.
Hey, and by the way, I just before we come on, I remembered that we actually did a jam together in Frankfurt with a German, an American but Germany-based soul singer called Karl Friersen, and we did something. I don't know. It was great. Yeah,
we had a lot of fun at those Mesas. Yeah.
And
is there a Mesa this year?
Actually not, because the COVID thing and stuff. I'm going to NAMM in June, but this is when you'll be in Europe. Yeah, so we kind of miss. But I will try to catch you in Europe while you are around. And I checked out the dates. So Luxembourg is kind of pretty close to where I live, and you're playing Paris, France, and then Luxembourg, and maybe I can see you. And whatever, we have maybe the next interview for our guys here, or we just meet and hang, whatever, and enjoy the vibe. Hey, thanks, Kat. See you soon.
All right.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.